Hi, my name is Chantal Comeau and I'm an English teacher at École Mathématique, and today's pedagogical capsule is about our book project. So this is probably not the first book that you would have read this semester. I'm assuming you have read The Outsiders or you've had training with another book in question. So at this point in time, it is our choice to try something new. So what this means is part of this project will be traditional and part of this project will be creative. So let's see what we have in mind here. The purpose or the goal of all of this is to get you people hopefully to read something a little bit different than your regular traditional kind of book or the movies that you're used to seeing. So if your main character is different than what you normally would see, we're hoping that we could get you people to read something a little bit different and out of the box compared to normal. As well, the purpose to this project is to give you, as an individual, the power to choose. So you'll be choosing your own book. It can be from home. You can go out and buy something, but we will probably be taking you to the library as well and giving you suggestions and guiding you in your choices. For my class, these are the 3 criteria. But keep in mind, after this video, your teacher will be specifying for your class what kind of criteria is going to be the same in this video and which ones are going to be different. Every semester we ask for students' feedback and then we adjust and change things every semester. So this is what I have decided for my classes for this time around. So the criteria for me, obviously it must be appropriate for grade 9 English class. I think that will go for all of your teachers. So if it's something you can share with your grandmother or your parents, then you know it'll be okay for English class. That there be a minimum amount of pages, whether it's 125 or 150, as long as it's in that area, then we will be meeting the grade 9 requirements and you'll be reading something at your level. And that there be no movie made of this book. This is a book project, not a viewing project. There will be 2 parts to the project. One part that we'll call traditional, one part that we'll call creative. And these 2 sections will be the next 2 posters following with all of the details and instructions. And the last 2 parts to this introduction video, or for the beginning of the video anyhow, your time frame is probably 5 to 7 weeks depending on the semester. And it's going to be in paper form. So this is not an oral presentation. You're not showing the class or a group of people your book. This is for the teacher's eyes only. So, and you'll probably be stapling, I don't know, 15 or 20 pages or whatever the amount of pages are together, and you are submitting this project in paper form stapled. It is possible that you'll only have 5 to 8 pages that are typed and not handwritten, which is also fine. And then at the back of that project, there will be a Ziploc. And inside the Ziploc, there will be a USB with certain components that you may choose in your creative section for your project. So the entire project does not have to be paper pencil. That's where the creative component comes in. So we're trying to offer you a diversity, a variety of books, and to give you people the power to choose something which I believe will make you more motivated and more engaged in the project, and you'll be more successful and have a better final product. And then everyone all around is happier with better grades. Okay, so the traditional part. Traditional, I guess what this means, you probably imagine pencil paper, which is relatively what it is. It's pretty much what it is. Mandatory meaning there will be a list given to you. You'll see behind me there are 4 numbers, but it's possible for your semester that it's 5 or 6 or 7 or 3, depending on what your teacher decides. So after this video, keep in mind that these elements will vary for each section every semester. We always ask for feedback and try and make things better. So for my classes this semester, what is going to be obligatoire, mandatory, pencil, paper? 4 components. The first 2 are underlined in red because these will be submitted and taken care of within the first 2 weeks of the book project. That is the time allotted for it. So first impressions and predictions, you'll also notice the little bubble with an arrow. There's a pedagogical capsule that I made pertaining exactly to this, so you could view that at a different time. This video is more of an overall look at the project. So for this, the specifics for this will be in the pedagogical capsule. And this first activity, I put it down as number 1, could be done anywhere the first 2 days to the first 2 weeks that you begin the book project and that you start reading. Number 2 behind me here, vocabulary, is probably an activity that you've already done. I know at Mathieu Martin we usually get the students to do a vocabulary activity with the book The Outsiders. So you would have done it already, and it is to be submitted at the beginning of the process. So 2 or 3 weeks in, let's say, or maybe even 1 week, depending. The last two, number 3, you would have already practiced in class, or maybe even in French class. C'est quoi la morale de l'histoire? What's the message? What's the moral? That is mandatory. You will be asked to hand that in eventually at the end. The first 2 are early, and this is at the end of the project. And the last one, this word, it's possible this literary element you haven't seen yet, which is fine. We will be practicing in class. There's a pedagogical capsule for numbers 3 and 4 that are already on YouTube that you can go see to either review or to learn something new. So these 2 will be submitted early, and these 2 at the end, stapled with the final project at the week 6, week 7, or week 8. So traditional, pencil, paper, a small list of things that you must do. You can't get out of it. Now for the creative part. This is where it starts to get a little more interesting, more individual, and depending on your tastes and what you like, then you'll get to choose. So you will be imagining something and creating something from scratch. So if you have a creative spirit or mind, this is going to be enjoyable for you and probably easy. If not, you must tolerate this section and choose what fits best for you. The list and the choices vary every semester. I have 6 with 3 dots on the bottom, meaning for my classes you'll probably have 8 or 9 choices. But you have to make sure that you're checking with your teacher after the video to make sure that the list is clarified and specified for you. And modern approach, meaning you can do most of this on the computer. It doesn't have to be done by hand, although you could if you wanted to. It can also be typed up, or it can be videotaped or audio recorded. So for every section, it doesn't matter what you choose. In the creative component of the project, every activity, there must be explanations to go with it. So for example, you decide you would like to create a new book cover. So if you look at the cover of your book and you decide, oh, I'm going to draw something new. Wonderful. In the middle, you decide to put a blue flower. You're going to have to explain why that blue flower is there, why it's in the middle of the cover, why it's blue, and why it is the size that it is. So the explanation part can be in writing, can be typed, audio, or video. That's potentially the USB that will be stapled to the back of your project. But there needs to be an explanation. So you will be taking notes as you read your book, just like when you read The Outsiders. And then when you say in chapter 7, the blue flower appears, and in chapter 7 we see it's important because, then you would be referring to the chapters of your book, the information in your book, to support all of these choices. So your book is your springboard that will permit you to imagine and create, but it has to still fit with the characters, the personality, and the storyline. So here are some things in my class that I will be offering. So you can do a new book cover, a soundtrack, so maybe you're very musically knowledgeable, you have a lot of songs, maybe your parents have exposed you to all sorts of decades of music, and maybe for you, creating a soundtrack for your book would fit. So you would choose a song for chapter 2, a song for chapter 3, and explain all of those choices. Maybe for you would like to address the main character and write a letter. So there'll be 5 bubbles at the top of the page, and you follow that letter, and you would either write it out or type it out. This probably would need to be in paper form. Facebook profile, same idea, you would create. So you would imagine that the main character of your book would listen to country music, and then you would say, because in chapter 8 this happens. So it would need to be completely imagined from you, creating something. A movie trailer, a poem, and the list could potentially go on. Like I said earlier, make sure that you are clear with your teacher for this semester what options are available. It's possible that on this creative list you only have 4 options and not 6. It really just depends. We're going to make the choices depending on our experience that we feel will make your project the most successful. This is about you feeling proud of a final product, that when you submit it, that you're able to do it well and feel good about that. And the last poster, FAQs is an abbreviation for frequently asked questions. So here are 4 things that I usually get as questions, or that could maybe be a little confusing or unclear. So one thing that we do is we try to send out all the documents through emails to all of your families to make sure that it is clear. This video should be either on Click or on YouTube, and you can review if you need to review, or if you were absent, you can come and consult this video. Some of the documents will be printed in class, but by sending it through email, let's say you decide in class you choose a letter, and then all of a sudden you feel inspired to do a Facebook page. You could open the email at home, print the Facebook page, and then take your pencil crayons and use it on the template page. That way you have liberty to choose and to change your mind. So these documents will be sent out to all of your families. We will not be printing everything and handing it to you. Reading time in class, that's another question that I get. Okay, this sounds like a lot of project work. It sounds big. It sounds like it takes a lot of time. So most grade 9 teachers will give you 2 to 3 sessions per week in class of reading time or working time. And each slice is approximately anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes. Obviously, some weeks it can be less or more, depending on the time available and what other projects that you have going on in your class. Third question, of course, please continue taking notes chapter per chapter because you have to explain your creative activity depending on what you choose. This may or may not be easy, but you need boxes on a page with drawings or some notes or something so that you can argue why you say your main character would listen to Metallica, or why you think your main character's Facebook profile under activities it would be cross training or the shot put. You would need proof from the book and then make that link from there. And last, any video or audio that you will be putting on a USB and stapling to your project is for our eyes only. So just to clarify, this is a written or a paper formed project. This is not an oral presentation and no one else will be necessarily seeing this project. I believe this concludes our video. Last to repeat would be please consult your teacher, and there will be requirements specified and changed at the end of the video. To finish, this is the pedagogical capsule for our book project in grade 9 English class at École Mathieu Martin. Thank you.